It is said that the devil himself left up to 100 miles of footprints upon the freshly fallen snow in the Shire of Devon, England, on the winter's night of February 8, 1855. These were country folk, hunters, farmers, people who had only to glance at footprints in the snow to know exactly what animal had passed over that ground. House cat, cow, horse, rabbit, deer, fox, these are the tracks drawn by the witnesses of 1855. Tracks of a hoof. These tracks go in a straight line. Only those that walk on 2 feet would walk in a straight line. There is no 2-footed animal that walks on a hoof, except the devil. That's what scared the hell out of them. That's why they said, "These must be the cloven hooves of Satan." And these tracks were laid silently, set into the new snow, when every human being was inside their winter home and most likely sleeping. Tracks were found in a garden area that was completely surrounded by a 12-foot wall. These tracks stop at the inside of this wall and continue on the outside of the wall. The snow on top of the wall was undisturbed, as if something had passed through a solid brick. The tracks were not those of a small animal. Their size matched the footprint of a donkey. But at one location, the tracks go inside one end of a drain pipe that is about 6 inches in diameter and near to the ground. And these tracks come out the other end of the same pipe. There were long trails, but some trails ended abruptly, as if Satan chose that time to vanish. Some towns had trails all over the place, others only a few. At the town of Dawlish, the Devil's Trail weaved over the churchyard and in between the head markers of the graveyard. Tracks were seen to lead up to the side of a house, and then they would continue on the roof. Maybe he was interested in somebody inside the house. Tracks were found that passed through the middle of a snow-covered haystack. Tracks on one side, tracks on the other. The snow on top of the haystack? No tracks. Sightings were reported from 7 towns in Great Britain, all within the county of Devon, and also within a 9-mile radius. Exeter, Torquay, Budleigh Salterton, Newton Abbot, Exmouth, Teignmouth, Dawlish. What domesticated animal did these country people have that would have raised an alarm at anything out of the ordinary? They had dogs. They had dogs. Did any of them hear their dogs? From Exeter in the north to the south in Torquay. Not a one. Nobody heard their dogs that night. With one exception. The Reverend Elicoom heard his dog barking that night. Unfortunately, the Reverend did not deign to investigate. Who else but the devil would be able to escape detection of all the dogs in the area except that of the vicar? The fear was so great that some people formed posses and followed these tracks as a group. They followed trails far afield, over miles of countryside. Not one of these posses ever reached the end of a trail. They all turned back. One of these posses apparently cornered something they called a beast, in a thick section of wood near Dawlish, near the center of the anomaly. They sent in their dogs. Suddenly, and all together, the dogs came back, baying, howling, and terrified. This posse turned back also. Why does paranormal activity like this not happen today? Actually, it does. There are British reports of the same phenomena from the 1950s. And 6 years ago, in 2009, Devon itself was revisited by the hoofmarks of the devil. This time, somebody took pictures. That is to say, 3 pictures were taken. We are lucky to have them. Note the uncanny resemblance of this photograph to the mirror image of one sketch made in 1855. Again, the tracks run in a straight line. Again, they end abruptly, as if their maker disappeared. To this day, these phenomena have not been explained.
I have seen some of the experiments shown in this film actually carried out